Hey everyone, it's Max. What I'm about to share with you are 3 stories that have haunted me ever since I first heard or experienced them. I call this 3 real horror stories that will terrify you. These aren't just ghost stories whispered around a campfire. These are darker, twisted, and very real. Let's begin. This happened to my friend Sam back in 2016. He just moved into a cheap rental house near Boise, Idaho. It was an older 2-bedroom with a basement and a strange smell he couldn't place. He was a broke college student and didn't mind the smell or the creaks of the old wood. Until things started happening. It started with little things. Every night around 2:30 a.m., the smoke detector would chirp, even though the batteries were new. Doors that were shut would be found slightly ajar. He chalked it up to drafts, maybe bad insulation. But one night, while watching TV on the couch, he heard a thump directly underneath the floorboards, like something or someone was in the crawl space. He froze. The TV was still playing. The house was dead silent otherwise. He turned down the volume and waited. Another thump, then scraping. The crawl space had an outside latch. He figured it was an animal, raccoon maybe. The next day, he went out back and opened the latch. It was empty. No signs of life, no nests. Nothing but spider webs and the thick, sickly smell he'd noticed since he moved in, like mold and rotting meat. He didn't sleep well that night. Over the next few days, he kept hearing movement. Crawling sounds under the floor when he walked. Whispering, not audible words, just mouth sounds, coming from the vents. One night, determined to catch whatever it was, he set up his phone and left it recording in the living room. Camera facing the floor vent. The next morning, he reviewed the footage. At exactly 3:12 a.m., something slid open the metal grate. A pale, thin hand, too long, with crooked fingers, reached up and pulled itself halfway out. The thing had no hair, sunken black eyes, and a mouth that hung open unnaturally wide, like it was silently screaming. Then it looked directly at the phone, at Sam. He moved out the next day, but not before opening the crawl space one last time. He found a tattered flannel shirt, a half-eaten raw rat, and scratch marks in the concrete. No one has lived in that house longer than a month since. This story was told to me by a guy I met while hiking in northern Maine. I don't know his real name. He called himself Eli. Said he used to work as a ranger near Baxter State Park. According to Eli, there's a part of the forest up there locals refuse to enter after sunset. He said he once got a call about a lost couple who had gone off the trail around 5 p.m. By the time he hiked in to find them, it was getting dark. He brought his dog, Murphy, a huge German shepherd trained for search and rescue. Murphy was eager at first, sniffing and leading Eli deeper into the woods. But about 2 miles in, the dog froze, hackles up, growling at the trees. Eli heard it too, whistling. Not a tune, but high-pitched, constant, like someone exhaling through tight lips. It came from all around them, like the woods were breathing. Then Murphy whimpered and bolted, just turned tail and ran. Eli chased him, but lost him in the underbrush. Panicked, he turned back toward where he thought the trail was. The whistling followed. No matter how far or fast he moved, it stayed the same volume, like it was inside his own ears. He started to hear words behind it, muttering, whispers overlapping and gibberish, like a broken radio trying to tune into hell. He finally stumbled onto a clearing, and there, in the center, was the missing couple. Dead, eyes wide open, mouths stretched in a smile so wide their lips had torn, hands covering their ears, blood streaming from them. The whistling stopped. The next thing Eli remembers is waking up in his truck, parked outside the forest. Murphy was in the passenger seat, trembling, eyes dull like something inside him had died. Eli quit the park service that week. He ended our conversation by looking me straight in the eye and saying, "If you ever hear whistling in the woods, don't cover your ears. It wants you to." This one is mine. I've never told it before. Not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't, until now. I had a younger sister, Ava. She was only 12 when she died. Our house was small, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, creaky floors and thin walls. I was 16 at the time. I slept in the room next to hers. The night before she died, she came into my room crying. She said there was a man in her closet. I told her she was dreaming, but she wouldn't stop sobbing. So I went with her, opened the closet, nothing. Clothes, a shoebox, a few old toys. I gave her a hug, told her to go back to sleep. She didn't make it through the night. I woke up to my mother screaming. Ava was in her bed, eyes open, blood coming out of her ears and nose. Paramedics said it was a brain aneurysm, sudden, unpreventable. We buried her a week later. I didn't go into her room for a long time after that. My parents kept the door shut. But one night, about 3 months later, I had a dream. No, it felt real. In the dream, I was standing in her doorway. The closet door was open, and something was watching me. It wasn't a man. It was wrong. 8 feet tall, barely fitting in the closet. No face, just skin. Stretched tight like wet paper. It pointed at me. Then I heard Ava's voice. "It lives here now." I woke up screaming. I told my parents. They brushed it off. But I started noticing things. Her closet door would be open in the morning, even though no one went in there. Lights would flicker. My dog would whine at the hallway. One night, I finally got the courage to go into her room. It was cold, like a freezer. My breath fogged the air. The closet was open. Inside was a small black box I'd never seen before. I picked it up and opened it. Inside was a tooth. Not Ava's. Too long, too sharp. The closet slammed shut behind me. I was stuck in there for 6 hours. My parents swore the door wasn't locked, but I couldn't get out. I screamed, banged, cried. No one came. And in the dark, something breathed, right behind me. It whispered her name over and over again. When they finally opened the door, I ran out. I looked back. There was a hand, just barely visible, receding into the darkness. We moved 6 months later. But sometimes I still dream of that closet, of her voice, of the thing that replaced her. And every time I wake up, my closet door is open. I know a lot of you are going to ask, are these stories true? And all I can say is, I didn't write these to entertain you. I wrote them because I'm scared, because something followed me home. And if you're hearing scratching behind your walls tonight, maybe you should check your closet too. Just don't look too long. And whatever you do, don't cover your ears.